There's a cry from a young boy in a city running wild. There's a cry from a mother who just lost another child.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, my people on Instagram. Good morning if you're on YouTube. Good morning if you're on Facebook. Good morning.
Has been wasted and abused. There's a cry from a river that has nowhere to flow. And the blood of the river was lost so long ago. And I cry for a reason that only heaven knows.
Where did we go wrong?
How can we go wrong?
Only love remains the answer. Good morning. If you're joining me, you're listening to Timmy the Kolo. And this one is There's a Cry. Welcome to Pfthinks, episode 111.
He has love for the people, yet it costs the people food. He has goods for the people, and a promise yet to come. So
to kill one another.
For a hope that never comes.
There's a cry
from a river that has no
ever flow.
And the blood of the river was lost so
Long ago.
And I cried for the reason that only heaven knows.
Where did we go wrong?
How can
We go wrong. Only love remains the answer. Okay, good morning. How are you today? Welcome to Pfthinks episode 111 from Presswell International Studio, Lagos, Nigeria. How are you today? And thank you so much for joining me once again. Well, for so many days, over 11 days there, we've been looking at the series Co-Parenting, and maybe between today and tomorrow, most likely today, we're going to be tidying this up. I was hoping to bring up a few guests today who have been through co-parenting, but I couldn't just lay my hands on them. I hope if I can get them tomorrow, we'll continue. But if not, we will. This will be the final edition on the co-parenting series. Then tomorrow we'll take on another series or another. Maybe I want to do, not a series this time around. I just want to tackle a pocket of issues before we get into another series. But if there are issues you will have me address that you want me to handle in this Pfthinks, it's all about thinking and new thoughts, new solutions to complex problems, simple solutions to complex problems. Please slide into my DM and let me know what you want me to talk about. Some people have been saying I should talk about sex. Well, I hope I'm able to do that, but whatever you want me to treat, please let me know. Now, this particular session, I want to quickly look at co-parenting and winning together. So far, we've looked at different aspects of co-parenting. We've looked at the law and co-parenting, Islam and co-parenting. We've looked at healing. We've looked at moving from pain to responsibility. We've looked at scripting a child together. We've looked at creating different templates. All kinds of issues that surround co-parenting. And I want to say thank you so much for your reviews and thank you so much for your amazing comments. Some of you are going on my YouTube page to make comment. Please go on my YouTube channel, subscribe, pass your comments, based on everything you're learning on this show. Thank you so much for all the encouragement. Now, I will start with a quote that I found online. This one says, a healthy and positive co-parenting relationship is nothing short of a gift. Now, a healthy and positive co-parenting relationship is nothing short of a gift because it's often an exemption to the rule and not the norm. But we need to make it normal right now that when a marriage has broken down, Co-parenting becomes what we need to do, the responsibility we need to take to get the best out of the child. If a marriage is suffered because two people are not willing to make it work, then, or one person is not willing to make it work, a child should not suffer, because the child should did not beg to be brought into this world. A child must not suffer the pain of a broken down marriage. Consistently, I have said it here that the location of marriage or broken down marriage, or the location of a divorce, is different from the location of co-parenting, and you cannot come and exhibit or interpret the role of divorce in the screen or the movie called co-parenting. Now, co-parenting is the coming together of two adults who have chosen to set aside the pains of their difficult marriage to team up together to deliver the dream of humanity. Your child is a dream of humanity. Will you deliver that child, or will you destroy that child? Is always in your hand. One core knowledge every team knows is that, one, the quality of players plus the ability to blend into a team plus superior playing pattern or tactical formation is key in winning matches. So you can look at the three ingredients in there: the quality of players. Now, if we're playing in a team and one of us is still aggrieved and hurting and in pain, that person becomes the weak link in the team that is going to sabotage everything we want to achieve. So imagine you have a team that wants to win the World Cup, and a particular player, let's say the goalkeeper, is drunk, right? So for every ball they send to the goalpost, the ball gets inside the net, or he carries the ball by himself and he's throwing it inside the net. That is someone scoring own goal against the team. That is a saboteur. Now, that kind of a person is not needed for us to win what we need to win, which is why when one party becomes unreasonable, right? Sole custody is what people file for, because you have proven not to be ready to collaborate to help us win this match that we really, really desperately need to win, right? So one core knowledge everything knows is that the quality of players, that's very, very key. Quality of players. What is the quality of the two people involved in co-parenting, right? Have they overcome the emotional trauma? Which is why I usually will recommend, before you get into co-parenting, make sure you attain healing, go for therapy and go for sessions, so that you can have clarity about your hurts and your pains, and come together to now understand that you need to set aside your pain for you to be able to co-parent successfully, because an injured player has no place on the pitch, right? Because it will become what we call shot one. So it will be 10 against 11 in a football match, and the team with the superior player or the upper end may win the match. So the two people involved in co-parenting must be right, they must be sane, and the fosters and every other actors or cast in the movie, they must be people we are sure can promote the best interest of the child. We don't want people telling the child a story of how your father ran away with another woman, how your father was a bad man, how your mother was this and that. We don't need those stories in co-parenting. Now, so one is the quality of players. When you have ascertained that, it's not just enough for the two players to be qualitative, they must be able to blend into a team, right? We have seen a team of all-stars lose matches because they couldn't blend into a team. That within the confines of co-parenting, individualism cannot work. It has to be teamwork. Understanding that the star of the show is not the mother or the father, the star of the show is the child. We are gathered together, playing together because of the child, not because of ourselves, to show that we can play or we can dribble. No. To show that we are right or we are wrong. No. It's about the child. And number three, then, superior playing pattern or tactical formation. To now say, what tactics do we need to deploy for us to win this World Cup, which is getting the best out of our child? Now, if you add the three together, you will most likely win. You see, it's either we win as wise people or we perish as fools. The question is, are you foolish or are you wise? Now, so you need to understand that every time you bring your pain into co-parenting, it's a demonstration of foolishness. It may look like it's a demonstration of your hurt and your pain, but you see, your child must never be sentimental. You must never be sentimental when it comes to getting the best interest out of a child or raising a child properly. If you're emotional and you say, I'm slapping my child, I'm yelling at my child because of the pain his father subjected me through, or it reminds me of the father, or the foolishness of this father, that is not required. You can as well give a child up for adoption, or ask your ex to take full custody. If you know your being in the life of the child is going to constitute pain or is going to destroy the child, there is no harm in it. We have seen people give up a child for adoption. The mother of Steve Jobs gave him up for adoption because she knew she would never be able to successfully raise him. So she gave him up for adoption to a parent who promised to send him to school. And there are so many icons in history who went through that same experience. So it's not, if you can't handle a child, there is no glory in keeping a child that you can't handle. You can as well give the child up for adoption, or you give sole custody to the father or to the mother. Now, ignorance of the playing pattern of your team is already a failure, which is why co-parenting cannot be done by proxy. You need to come together, sit as adults, and agree based on everything we've taught on how to script a child, how to pick the signal of the child, and how to create a template that can promote the best interest of the child. So ignorance of the playing pattern of your team is already failure, and ignorance of the tactics of your opponent and how to neutralize their pattern is a recipe for failure as well. That there are opponents in co-parenting. Opponents are people who mean well, but they come to sabotage. Opponents can also be your behavior, can be your worldview. Your opponents can be your hurt, your pain, can be your eating agenda, right? These are things you need to neutralize if you're going to get the best out of the co-parenting experience. Now, you need to understand that it is easier to collaborate to win together than waste precious years that could have been used to create a memorable experience for a child on battles that sunk the ship of your marriage in the first place, right? It is better, easier to collaborate to win together than waste precious years that could have been used to create a memorable experience for a child on the battles that sunk the ship of your marriage. This battle you want to fight, I am right, you are wrong, was what killed the marriage. Now you are brought it into co-parenting again. It's going to kill the child, right? So it's not just going to kill co-parenting, it's going to kill the child. Is that what you want? What exactly do you want? And do you actually love your child? It's not enough to say, I love my child. Love is both a verb and a noun. So you need to understand that it's both an action and a state of being. And you see, your behavior is what will help us know whether you truly love the child. You can't say, I love my child, and you are yelling, you are shouting, you are, saying your father did this, your father did that. No, that is hatred for the child. If you truly love the child, there are things you'll be willing to do to promote the best interest of the child. Now, here are a number of facts about winning together. Number one, star players don't win matches, teams do. Star players don't win matches, teams do. So stop trying to outdo one another to show that I love the child the most. No, you need to team up together to win this co-parenting game or co-parenting tournament, right? So star players don't win matches. Nigeria went to France 98. And we played against Denmark. The best player on the field was Austin JJ Okocha, but Nigerian lost, right? Of course, he got a big contract, but of what essence is playing so well, dribbling everybody when your team still lost? Star players you will never see any game that they said Lionel Messi won, Real Madrid 0. No, it will either be Barcelona versus Real Madrid. No player can become a team. The same way, stop trying to outdo yourself and show your child that you love him more than or love her more than the mother, or love him more than the father. No, teams do. And which is why I love what Jennifer Lopez said when she had to co-parent, that every time the children ask about her ex, she said, your father is very busy trying to make ends meet, and trying to support the family and trying to create a better life for you. He's not available right now, but he means well and he loves you. And when she's not around, the ex also does the same thing. That is maturity in co-parenting. Star players don't win matches, teams do. Number two, the teams with the best players have often lost critical matches to less equipped players, but with a strong team who plays collective interest above individual showmanship. The teams with the best players have often lost to critical matches, to less equipped players, but with a strong team who place collective interest above individual showmanship. It's not enough to say, I am rich, I am wealthy, we are rich, we are well to do, we can afford anything. No, that what it takes to parent is a different job description, right? You don't know it, you don't know it. Your money cannot substitute for your lack of knowledge or for your ignorance, right? The fact that you can take a child out and travel with a child does not substitute. You are a father, you are not a mother. You are a mother, you are not a father. So you can't substitute one for the other. So you need to understand that if you don't place collective interest above your individual showmanship, which will include the show of your pain, of your divorce, of what it put you through, divorce means the marriage is dead. It means the marriage is dead. So stop snooping around. If the two of you could not make the marriage work, you better focus on co-parenting and make co-parenting work. So you need to place your personal agenda, your selfish agenda, your personal pain. You need to set it aside to get the best out of this child, or else you're going to lose, the everything the child can become, you're going to lose it. Number 3, the choice is ours to either demonstrate the maturity to win as champions or lose out as fools. Now you need to understand that. You see, the child is not going to wait for you to overcome the trauma of your divorce, right? It cannot wait. The future of that child starts counting from the moment he is born, and you have 18 years. So let's say your child is already 10 and you are still fighting battles. You have 8 years technically to function in the life of that child. Are you going to make it memorable, or you're going to make his life miserable? The choice is yours. And which is why I said the choice is ours to demonstrate the maturity to win as champions or to lose out as fools. Imagine if we lose out. The whole world will boo us. They will look at us. Oh, they have all it takes, but they keep fighting. They destroy the marriage, and the same way they have come to wreck co-parenting and make the life of the child miserable. Is that what you want? Now, number 4, whatever a child becomes, the signature of your pain or pleasure we have created will permanently be visible all through his or her life. Whatever a child becomes, the signature of either the pain or the pleasure that you have created, you have given to the child, will be permanently visible all through his or her life. So if the two of you collaborate to give the best form of parenting to your child, co-parenting together to get the best out of the child, it means you have created pleasure. The signature of your pleasure will be visible in his own life, in his wholeness, in the way he treats people, in the way he gets married, in the way his emotion work, his confidence, his self-esteem, self-respect. But if what you've done is to bring World War III into co-parenting, the signature of your pain will also be visible, because you will now raise a child who is toxic, you will raise a child who is angry, you will raise a child who is bitter about what you have subjected him through. The child did not beg to come into this world. So you need to be reasonable, the two of you, and come together to say, you know what? The child did not beg. So can we set aside our emotion? Because oftentimes we pretend as if we don't have control over our emotion. Truth is, we have control. It can be learned. Every behavior you have right now was a learned behavior. Your anger was learned. Your pain was learned. The same way you can learn pleasure and how to create the right environment for the potential of your child to find expression. Today, I have come to ask a question. What do you truly want? And you need to answer this sincerely. I want to appeal to your conscience. What do you truly want? Do you want to win your personal battle while the child loses the battle to become the best version of himself? Or would you rather lose your personal battles and watch your child win? Let me tell you, you cannot win that personal battle once divorce is finalized. Marriage is dead. So, except you're planning to come together and remarry, there is no victor, no vanquish. It's gone. You better bury it. It's like someone who is dead. You cannot raise them to life, no matter how much you grieve. So if you feel sad from now till the end time, you cannot undo what has been done, except the two of you agree to marry again. You cannot roll back the hands of time, function in the life of the person that you finalized divorce with. So you better understand that it's dead and buried. And face your pain and heal from your pain and function, or else you may also lose out in co-parenting. So what do you truly want? Do you want to win your personal battle while the child loses the battle to become the best version of himself? If you have lost marriage, do you also want to lose parenting and lose your child? Is that what you want? Or would you rather lose your personal battles and watch your child win? How do we win together as co-parent? Number one, focus on the end you both want and understand this engagement has an expiry date. Let's even assume you can't stand your ex. You need to understand that he has an expiry date, and whatever has an expiry date can be endured. After all, when you were in the university, you had a lecturer that you couldn't stand, but you had to endure that lecturer. The day you were given your certificate of graduation, you were out of his life. He could no longer control you. The same way some of us lived with parents that we didn't like, but you had to endure the torture of living in their roof, under their roof, till you went to rent your own house. So why are we pretending to say we cannot put up with someone who you once shared affection with and the marriage broke up, right? You can co-parent together. So focus on the end you both want and understand this engagement as an expiry date. So if it's for 18 years, focus on the end game where your child becomes the best version of himself. Now, if that is your focus, then it becomes very easy for you to endure whatever you need to endure to get the best out of the child. Remember, the child is the focus. Number two, sacrifice your individual agenda to play the match of your lives to get the team to win. Now, we have seen teams that played the match of their life, a blinder, to get their teams to win. I mean, recently Chelsea played what do you call it now? Arsenal at the FA Cup final. And you saw David Luiz, who people thought was Calamity Luiz. He played the match of his life because that used to be his team. He played the blinder for Arsenal to win. So the same way, if what is at stake is high enough, imagine if what you have in your hand is a Mark Zuckerberg, if it's a Bill Gates, if it's Jeff Bezos, what will you do differently? You will do everything to ensure that that child becomes who he can become. Play the match of your life. Sacrifice your individual agenda. You want to get back at your spouse, you guys can begin to fight after a child has been raised. You can slap yourself after a child has been raised. But when you have not won the match, please bury your hatchet, set it aside, and play the match of your life, for you to win. Number three, interpret your roles effectively and make up for each other's shortcoming for the team to win. Don't be trying to, look for loopholes to say to the child, your father is irresponsible. You see, he said he was coming. He's a useless man. No, you are winning together. You are working to, every time you do that, you are scoring own goal against the team. Co-parenting is a team game, and you cannot bring your individual agenda and put down your teammate simply because you want to appear good. A child does not need that information. If he has promised to come and he can't come, you can call him to find out where he is or make excuses. Oh, your father could be stuck in traffic. I'm sure he's going to be here. Or maybe he had an emergency and he's such a good man. He never behaves like that. You need to give a child experience and not give them a messed up experience of who their father or their mother is, even if they are irresponsible, right? Because you don't want to plant a seed of irresponsibility in the heart of a child. So interpret your roles effectively. You are like goalkeeper, or you're like a striker. They have dribbled your goalkeeper, or your goalkeeper is no longer on the goalpost, and the ball is coming towards your net. You don't show your goalkeeper to show that he's a bad goalkeeper, we say, I will show him today. Let them score against the team. Who loses? Not your goalkeeper. The team will lose. So what you do is you kick out the ball and save your team, right? Then you can address the goalkeeper later. This is how co-parenting works. Interpret your roles effectively, make up for each other's shortcoming for the team to win. It's about the child. The World Cup here is the child, not the two of you. And number four, open up yourselves to everything that is needed to enable you effectively function to promote the best interest of the child. Open up yourself to everything that is needed to enable you effectively function to promote the best interest of the child. If there are courses you need to take, you can take those courses. So, for example, I strongly recommend the promo we're doing this month, which is Raising a Whiskey. If you go to iampraisforward.com/whiskey, you will find a combo of a bouquet of about 7 products that have been packaged together for getting the best out of your child or raising a global icon. Secrets that many people never share, right? That's a product that goes for $181. For this month, you get it for $80, which is about 36,000 instead of 82,000 naira if you live in Nigeria. I will recommend that you take that and you and your ex go through it together. Open yourself up to knowledge. Open yourself up to healing. Open yourself up to everything that needs to be done to promote the best interest of your child, including becoming friends with your ex, if that is what is required to get the best in your child. After all, we say that if you want to catch a monkey, you need to behave like a monkey, right? You give the monkey the bait that the monkey loves. You don't give the monkey your favorite meal. You provide banana, and you can be sure the monkey will come around. Number 5, create the right narrative and the right atmosphere that help us win together. Matured people must be able to resolve issues together. So you need to create the right narrative. Like Zuriel taught us, there are things you need to do. Rehearse it in your mind, visualize what will happen, play it as a video, create the video. What are we going to do as I go for this meeting? I'm going to enjoy myself. Imagine I'm talking to a friend, right? Because don't behave as if you guys never had good moments together. So focus on the good moments and let it inspire your engagement, because you have to do it in the best interest of the child. So create the right narrative. Your ex is not a bad man. Your ex was a troubled man or a troubled woman. Is not a bad man. He has good side. So my ex is an excellent father, right? Who used to be troubled in marriage, but now is a fantastic teammate, co-parenting a child with me to birth the dream of humanity. Now you need to do this. Then you need to co-produce the best-selling movie that will transform the world. This best-selling movie is your child, and the two of you are co-producers. So you need to co-produce this best-selling movie that will totally transform our world. Imagine for a moment that what you have in your hand that you call your child is a Mark Zuckerberg or another Bill Gates, whose potential is under threat as a result of your unresolved pain. Will you destroy the dream of humanity, or will you let go of your pain to deliver this global icon? I'll take that again. And I mean it from the depth of my heart, which is why there is no point carrying pain into your future. The pain of your divorce, you need to seek clarity with a therapist and get healing. It's not necessary in your future, or else if you carry pain into your future, it's like you are carrying someone that is dead into your future. How relevant is that person in your future, right? You can have clarity and create an empowering narrative around what has happened to you, right? And channel the pain in the direction that can help other people heal. So imagine for a moment that what you have in your hand that you call your child is a Mark Zuckerberg or another Bill Gates, whose potential is under threat as a result of your unresolved pain. That if you do not resolve this pain, this child may likely become a bus conductor or end up as a normal person. He's never going to become the richest man in the world, or a child who will go global. Now, the question is, will you destroy the dream of humanity, or will you let go of your pain to deliver this global icon? Now, that's a question only you can answer. And if you can answer that question, you will find healing and you will let go of your pain today. Because a lot of us are holding back the global icon in our hand because of the pain we are going through. So you would rather destroy the child, destroy the dream of humanity, destroy who the child is capable of becoming, simply because you want to prove that the father or the mother hurts you. To what extent do you do that, and who profits from that? If both of you want the same thing, who and what is standing in the way of what you want? Because when you ask both parents who are co-parenting, they both want the child to turn out right. So who is sabotaging the process? The person who has not healed or move on from the pain of divorce is the person sabotaging the whole process. And that person could be you. It's not a witch. It's not a wizard. It's not somebody in the village. It is you, because you are unwilling to set aside the pain of what you guys share together, to come together, to team up together, to get the best out of a child. Imagine the pleasure of seeing your child becoming everything he or she was born to be. Imagine the pleasure. Can you think with me for a moment that your child has become everything it can ever be, a global icon? How would you feel, both of you? So you're standing in the future and you are seeing this child addressing CNN, the whole world on CNN, right? Having invented or innovated, a solution that can transform the entire world. How will you feel? You will feel good, right? Imagine the joy of seeing your child raise a functional family. So imagine it's the wedding ceremony of this your child, having raised him or her to become very successful and very responsible. How would you feel on that wedding day? Imagine the excitement of seeing your child grant interviews to appreciate the role both of you played in creating a global icon. Would you trade this for anything, or you will still elevate and hold on to your pain and destroy a child and exclude yourself from the pleasure of what can be if you do what is right? Now, my mentor taught me that discipline is a decision that is dictated by a predetermined destiny. Discipline is a decision that is dictated by a predetermined destiny, which means if you can see what the future holds, the pleasure that comes with that future, if you can see the pleasure of seeing your child becoming everything he was born to be, standing shoulder to shoulder with everyone at the highest level, manifesting and making you proud. If you can see the joy of seeing your child raise a functional family, right? And on his wedding day, both of you are present, cheering him on, being proud of the job you have done. If you can see the excitement of seeing your child grant interviews to appreciate the role both of you play. If you can see you writing a book on how to co-parent successfully and it becoming a best-selling book for everyone who is struggling to read, citing what your child has become as an example and as a template of what can be when parents set aside their pain to come together to raise a child. Then if you can see that, let your present behavior lead into the direction of that future that you see. Let the long run determine your short run. I will end with a quote by Joy Bell, and I love this quote. It says, "There is no such thing as a broken family. Family is family, and it's not determined by marriage, certificate, divorce papers, and adoption documents. Families are made in the heart." I'll take that again. There is no such thing as a broken family. Family is family, and it's not determined by marriage certificates, divorce papers, and adoption documents. Families are made in the heart. What that means is family is who we are, is in our heart. We cannot wish it away. We don't beg to have it. There is no pain that should tear it apart. Family is in the heart. It's not determined by divorce papers. It's not determined by marriage certificate. No, family remains family, is in the heart. Can we sow the right seeds in the heart of the child and help a child become the best version of himself? We have the power to make this happen, right? Go ahead, deliver the dream of your child and ensure that your child becomes the best version of himself. I want to appreciate you for joining me today. I hope this has helped you and this has transformed you. Please go ahead, make your future count, make your dream count, and totally transform your child. When divorce has happened and marriage has broken down, let us make co-parenting count and become the best version of ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you and thank you for joining me through the series. I hope this has helped people who have gone through divorce and they are co-parenting. Tomorrow we will start another journey. If I can't get hold on the people I need to get hold on to interview on how they're co-parenting. But trust me, we all have it together to become the best version of ourselves. Who you're going to become, if you follow this, will be pleasurable to you. You will feel good about yourself and you will be able to inspire others. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate you and I celebrate you. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.